The 4 death row inmates, Dump, Saw Apart and Minimalist, start getting rid of the people on the list that is given to them by Slur. The order group finds out about the murders and gathers up to fight back, while one of the members, Takamura, slices the van and the highway with his sword because a bug bugged him. Shin and Lu go to buy some stuff for the store. Suddenly Saw, one of the 4 inmates of Slur, appears and attacks Shin and Lu, as they are also on the list. He fights with an axe attached to a rope, while Shin tries reading his mind, but all he can read is the desire to kill. Suddenly Saw blows the whole store up, but Lu saves Shin. Saw talks about how he'll murder Sakamoto and his family, and attacks Shin. Suddenly Shin activates a new ability by which he can see the future a bit, and fights back. He reads the subconscious state of his brain by finding out what the brain is thinking of doing in the next split second, and moves himself accordingly, kind of like future vision. He starts feeling the effects of overusing that new ability. Suddenly Lu gets in a drunken fist state by drinking absolute ethanol, and gets in mafia drunk mode. She pins Saw down and stabs his arm to torture him for the people he has killed, but Saw starts running away as he only likes giving endings to other people and not himself. Suddenly Shin predicts his movements and beats him up with a ladder, though both of them lose consciousness from going drunk and overusing the ability, so Saw manages to escape and gets in a taxi. Suddenly Hyo of the order group kills him in there. Shin and Lu wake up, while floaters, the troop of JAA that cleans up the mess related to JAA, appear to start turning that store back to how it was before. Osaragi goes to a shrine to pray that they kill the 4 inmates. Suddenly Dump attacks her, but Osaragi uses a coin to block it, and beats her using the pattern used for praying in Japan. Dump uses spikes in her body to fight and throws the heavy suitcase of Osaragi away, then fights her outside where she pokes the spike in Osaragi's hand, but Osaragi says that murderers like them both are cruel to humanity, so the members of the order must keep the order going by killing the killers. Dump remembers she has a gore fetish as she finds it cute to see a person dying. That's why she became a serial killer. Osaragi finds her suitcase and brings out her buzzsaw weapon. She wants to kill herself because of the murders she has committed, but because she knows that she has to kill people who murder for bad causes, she gets the motivation to stay alive. That's why she loves murderers like Dump. She says love you to Dump, and kills her using the buzzsaw. Kashima tells Slur that 2 of the 4 inmates have been killed, but they're not worried as they're only using them to gain JA's attention to execute some other plan, and decide to move to phase 2. Suddenly Apart, one of the 4 inmates, attack Kashima after overhearing everything, and splits Kashima into pieces and leaves. Aoi manages the convenience store herself. Suddenly Minimalist, one of the 4 inmates, walks in and asks for Sakamoto, but it was actually Nagumo who was disguised as Aoi. Minimalist has killed 432 people before to try satisfying his boredom but hasn't yet, and fights Nagumo, but Nagumo beats him up easily and checks his inventory to try finding any important information, but fails. He brings out his weapon that has 6 weapons in it, then picks a number from 1 to 6 using a dice, and beheads Minimalist using the 3rd weapon, a giant cane opener. Sakamoto takes Shin to get treated by his physical therapist, Mia, who's famous in Assassin's World as she can treat almost any disease, and tells Shin to only use his subconscious mind-reading ability for 5 minutes a day. Mishimo and Pisuke go to the Tokyo Tower to try finding any inmate. Suddenly find Apart and shoot him, but he blocks with the strings on his hand. He climbs up using the strings and cuts Mishimo's sniper down. Suddenly Sakamoto appears and saves him, as Mishimo sent a ricocheting bullet signal to him moments ago. Mia hit Sakamoto earlier in a special pressure point which didn't let him turn into his slim form, while Mia tells Shin and Lu that Sakamoto is 30% of what he used to be in strength and always relies on his slim form to fight strong opponents, so she hit his special pressure point to not let him transform, to make him learn how to fight with his fat body properly. Sakamoto understands and takes Apart to the elevators where he beats him up in his fat form, so Apart gets amazed and asks Sakamoto to listen to what he has to say. He used to get ignored by everyone except his father, but the frustration of being alone made him stab his toy and an animal, so his father took him to a doctor, but the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with him, which didn't satisfy his father as that would mean Apart had a killer mindset since birth. Though Apart splits his father's head open and checks his brain, that gives him the relief that he's just like everyone else too. That's what made him a serial killer, so he can feel connected to society by cutting everyone's heads open to see their brains. Sakamoto says his condition sucks, so he makes the Tokyo Tower start falling. Suddenly Takamura of the order appears and slices the bottom of the tower in a way that it stops falling, while Sakamoto takes Apart to the top of the tower and spins him with his strings, then release him to make him hit all the insides of the tower, and defeats him. The floaters start fixing Sakamoto's store, while Sakamoto brings Apart to Mia's clinic, where everyone treats him like a normal human, so he ends up telling them the stuff he knows. He tells them about how he tore Kashima into pieces after finding out Slur was just using the 4 inmates for a bigger plan, then left a string behind to listen to what they say, and found out that Slur is planning to wipe out the whole JAA Tokyo base while the order is distracted by the 4 inmates. The JAA Tokyo base consists of 1,000 members with 400 professional assassins, while other members take care of everything else related to assassination stuff, so it's like the heart of JAA. Slur goes there on a bicycle with his minion, Gaku, where the guard asks for a JAA license to enter, but Slur says he threw his away as he didn't like his picture on it, meaning Slur was once a member of JAA too. They both go inside and kill more guards, so the whole building gets alerted, while Gaku and Slur split up. Gaku reaches the 3rd floor and kills the students of an assassin, while another assassin joins in. Suddenly Gaku uses a blast from his mace, then hits him with it to kill him. Slur goes to the upper floor and meets another one of his minions, Uda, who worked for JAA as a spy for a year, and has his other imposter spies outside, keeping watch. Suddenly Takamura arrives and kills those spies, then goes to the upper floors and fights Gaku, where he cuts his 2 fingers and his mace weapon. Takamura blasts the whole floor and Slur hears it. Suddenly Apart brings Sakamoto and Shin to Slur's floor, where Sakamoto meets Slur after a long time. He asks Slur why he put a 1 billion yen bounty on his head, but Slur doesn't like it that Sakamoto is speaking so much unlike before, and stabs him. Uda is about to shoot Shin but Apart stops him. Suddenly Slur cuts Apart's arm off, but Sakamoto sends Shin and Apart back to fight Slur himself. Slur notices that Sakamoto wasn't trying to kill them as he has quit his assassin life, so mentions his daughter, Hana, which pisses Sakamoto off, and he fights Slur seriously. Suddenly Gaku appears as he doesn't want to fight Takamura, while Takamura appears on the same floor too. Uda fights Takamura using a gun, but Takamura cuts his trigger finger and stabs his throat, then cuts Gaku's arm off too, but Gaku kicks his sword and almost breaks it. Though Slur tells Gaku to leave, but Sakamoto and Takamura interfere. Suddenly Uda grabs Takamura and triggers the bomb inside him to blast that floor up. Sakamoto gave Shin and Apart his blast-proof apron to keep them safe, while Slur watches Sakamoto for some moments and leaves with Gaku. 176 people died, leaving only around 25% total assassins in Japan since Slur started his attack on assassins 6 months ago. Hyo and Nagumo arrive to visit Sakamoto in a hospital, where Sakamoto tells Nagumo that Slur is their former classmate from JCC Assassin School, and his real name is Uzuki. Then Sakamoto asks Hyo and Nagumo to tell him everything that the Order knows about Slur in exchange for the information he provided. Suddenly Hyo attacks him as he hates Sakamoto's nonchalant attitude. Sakamoto and Shin attach him to a whatever machine, while Sakamoto says he wants to know to keep his family safe, so Hyo tells him to just check the JCC files to find out more about Slur, and leaves. Kashima fixes Gaku's arm, while Slur says that no one knows anything about Takamura as he just appeared from out of nowhere and started working for JAA, then decides to recruit more members as he's running low on them. To get the data on Slur, Sakamoto and Shin decide to enroll in JCC, the School of Assassins, while Sakamoto disguises himself with a cap as he has already graduated from there once. Jack Cass, who's going for his 7th attempt for the entrance exam, annoys them as he's famous for bullying newbies, while the flight attendant, Mizuno, tells the 360 participants that there are some test examiners among them in disguise, and the job of the examiners is to get a bullet from them that has JCC written on it. Everyone gets weapons randomly and starts killing each other to find the bullets, while Sakamoto gets a ballpoint but uses it professionally, which makes everyone think he's an examiner, but he beats them up and finds 3 bullets from an examiner. He gives one to a girl, Akira, but she gives it back as she wants to earn it herself. A participant, Seiba, gets 3 bullets from Mizuno and tries killing her, but Shin saves her and fights Seiba, and finds out he's a germaphobe. Seiba fights using a blade in his shoe. Suddenly Shin uses future vision for a little time and defeats him. He finds out that Seiba wants to join the Order group, so he takes 2 bullets from him and tells him to get his skills better. Suddenly an examiner, Kanaguri, who's also a member of the Order, kills the participants and records it, while Shin recognizes him as he's the founder of Murder Films who directs and records movies and sells them to his cult. Seiba insults old movies production, which pisses Kanaguri off, and he attacks them, which even Shin couldn't predict. Suddenly Sakamoto saves them, so he takes everyone's JCC bullets and takes Akira as the main character for his movie, then shoots the pilot to make the plane go down and bombs the plane to raise the bars. Other examiners call it phase 2 of the exam, where they have to keep the bullets and survive the fall somehow. Suddenly Sakamoto gets the bullets from Kanaguri, while Akira gets everyone's shirts, not pants, and sews them together to make a parachute to land without damage in the water. They reach the shore where Kanaguri's camera gets damaged, while the examiners bring 3 special participants, Kaji, Toramaru, and Shinaya, to take part in the 3rd phase, but one of them is actually a spy of Slur. The JCC bullets had 7 color ribbons in them, so the examiners made them wear them for a game of tail tag where everyone has to take the ribbons of other teams in 2 days in 10-kilometer radius in that forest. Sakamoto, Akira, and Jack Cass, and Shin, Seiba, and Kaji are in different teams, and the 3rd phase starts, so everyone runs around to create distance, while Shin tells Sakamoto to stay as his enemy for this phase or else he won't grow strong himself. Sakamoto's group chills around at the shore. Suddenly a team traps them and sends a bazooka at them, but Sakamoto blocks it with his apron, while Akira gets out of the trap as she's slim. Other group appears. Suddenly Akira gets a flashback that powers her up and almost kills one of the enemies, but Sakamoto breaks out of the trap and stops her and starts treating the enemy. He asks her family name and finds out she's Akira Akao, the niece of his former JCC classmate, Rihanna Akao, while Akira says she's trying to find her, that's why she's taking the exam. Shin's group gets attacked by Toramaru, who's a fan of Slim Sakamoto, but Seiba damages her Sakamoto keychain and insults her weeb lifestyle, so she starts using a gun axe weapon to fight. Shin's group falls into a river where Kaji saves them, while Toramaru reveals that when Sakamoto once saved her, her life changed by being his fan as she grew more confident unlike before. Shin fights her using future vision, then sends her down a waterfall, but her Sakamoto keychain gets stuck so she stops fighting back. Shin brings her out of the water and tells her that Sakamoto would have done the same, so she passes the title of #1 Sakamoto fan to him. Suddenly Shinaya punches her away as he's getting controlled by Gaku. Gaku is looking for new members to recruit on Slur's order. Suddenly the examiners appear and disqualify him for removing his ribbon, but he kills and injures them one by one. Shin tries fighting him using his future vision, but he overuses it. Suddenly Seiba and Toramaru join the fight too, while Kaji realizes that Shinaya is sleeping. Suddenly Shinaya gets in creative mode and bodies everyone, which makes Kaji realize he always stays shy and fails to do anything, but Shin reads his mind and tells him to man the fa up, so he tells Shin that Shinaya is probably getting remote controlled by someone else. They get in an underground ravine where Kaji tells Shin that he can hear the slight delay of the attacks from the remote controller guy through the headset Shinaya is wearing, which lets him figure out what attack Shinaya is going to deliver next. Shin tries reading Kaji's mind to figure out Shinaya's next attack, but Kaji couldn't think fast enough. Suddenly Shin uses his future vision ability again even though the 5-minute limit was up, and predicts Kaji's future thoughts a bit earlier to dodge Shinaya's attacks to fight back. Shinaya's headset falls off. Suddenly Kaji memorizes the fighting style of Gaku, and he and Shin fight Shinaya. Though Gaku breaks Shinaya's body limits to fight with his actual fighting style, tears Kaji's body from the side and hits him with a sound wave, and beats Shin up, who reached his future vision limit. Suddenly Sakamoto appears and saves Shin. He breaks the wall to let the underground river flow in, then they come out from the other side and land in the crashed airplane where Sakamoto fights using airplane items, and sends Shinaya in midair to hit him with the airplane's wheels to finally defeat him. Later the examiners pass 7 participants based on the performance, while Toramaru finds out that the Sakamoto over there was the same Sakamoto she's a fan of, but couldn't like him anymore because of his weight. Shinaya wakes up and reveals that he just applied to work as an assassin online, but Kashima and Slur controlled his body, while Kaji says that he overheard someone talking about recruiting more members through the headset. Slur finds out that Sakamoto is going to JCC, so he tells Kashima to destroy every record about him from there. The participants start leaving for some time to enroll in JCC later. Suddenly Kanaguri and another person, Karolia Reaper, get Toramaru and Seiba on Slur's order to recruit them, meaning Kanaguri was an imposter from the start. They bring them to Slur Space, where Slur tells them to join them to destroy JAA to bring the natural justice system back. Shin gets the first place in the exam, but Sakamoto Sakamoto fails as those with a bounty on their heads can't join JCC. Suddenly Nagumo appears and tells Sakamoto to go there as a teacher instead of a student. Finally, Akira gets in JCC and starts the training where her opponent tries cheating to stab her. Suddenly Sakamoto appears and stops him while disguised as Aoi, as Nagumo used his appearance-changing ability to turn him into her for 24 hours.